Okay, good evening, optimists, and thank you for being here tonight for our final uh, president to president session of the 2020-21 year. And my name is Mark Weinsoff, president of Optimist International. To my side is our president designate, Patsy Garner, who in 10 days will be president and I will be passed. And so this is our pleasure to co-host tonight to share some information for the end of the year and for the beginning of the year, because as you all know, the year doesn't stop for anybody else except for us. And so we continue, our clubs continue, and our work for the youth continue. And so we will just transition smoothly from on September 30th. So we'll just keep working. Now, I want to, this is an interactive session, and so there will be plenty of opportunity for you to share some information or some things that you would like to share, or as well as ask questions. And what we're going to do first is I want to give you a little Zoom lesson to make sure everybody knows how to raise your hand. If you move your pointer down to the bottom of your screen, you will see some things like a microphone and a video thing on the left-hand side, and you'll see some other things to say participants, chat, share screen, record, and reactions. I'd like you to click on the reactions button right now, and you will see a pop-up that has some emoticons at the top and some other things. And then at the bottom of that, you'll see something that says raise hand. And if you would like to speak, if you would use that button to raise your hand, you will come to the front of the screen for me to see you. If you're raising your hand in the camera, I will not see most of you. Like right now, I only see 6 cameras in my view. So I need you to use this technique to raise your hand if you'd like to speak. So when we get to that point, please do that. Now, let me just share with you my gratitude for your role as presidents of your club and the work that your clubs have done during this year. And go ahead and you can drop Patsy's spotlight out at this point. But we're so appreciative of the work that you all have done for your communities, because that's really where the rubber meets the road. That's the important thing that our organization does. It really does not matter what I do or what Patsy does next year, unless it's to inspire your club to do better things in your community or more things in your community. And I hope you enjoyed some of the new programs we brought to you this year, things like the musical happiness program and things like that. So if I have any role in helping your club do better, that's great. But I just want to take a moment to talk about how grateful I am for the great work your clubs have been doing. And certainly the last 2 years have been challenging for all of us. And I'm so impressed, so amazed at the ways your clubs have found to adjust to the situation that we found ourselves in, and still provide service to our communities in new and different ways that we never imagined before. And even to ourselves through Zoom meetings and however else you've been able to get together. I just congratulate you all for those things. I want to talk about success stories because this is the end of our quarter and our theme for this quarter is success. And so I want to talk about success stories, but while I prepare to initiate that conversation, I want you to think about what is the greatest success your club has had this year. And I want you to raise your hand so you can share that after I get done with the beginning part of what I want to talk about today. And I want to just get an opportunity to get about 5 to 10 max things that we can share about club successes this year, especially if it's overcoming some of the issues we've had to deal with COVID, or just a new program you've developed or anything like that. So if you'd like to share something that your club has done this year, I like to do that at the beginning of any meeting to start off on a positive note. And science has shown that starting meetings with something positive like that makes them more productive and innovative. So hopefully we'll get some good stories today. Just the other day, about 3 or 4 days ago, I was in Hammond, Indiana. Actually, I was in Chicago for this one, but the Hammond, Indiana club, anybody here from Hammond? Go ahead and raise your hand. They celebrated their 85th anniversary. And I had the pleasure of doing the installation for the new officers. And this club installed their 85th president. Okay, they have never repeated a president in 85 years. And that is a fantastic record to maintain. And I really congratulate them. Not only that, but they have donated millions of dollars to their community. They do some great fundraising and other things that they do. I heard all about their programs. But the fact that they have been able to change leadership every year for 85 years is really remarkable. And it's something I want your clubs to keep in mind, because I know often we find ourselves in situations where people think, well, we don't have anybody who wants to do the job, so I'll just do it again. And I want you to think about staying away from that kind of thinking and just really working to find those people to step up and do it, or at least rotate through different people, even if they've done it before. Because change of leadership is very important for your Optimist Club to stay fresh and to bring new ideas to the table and to attract new members. So I congratulate the Hammond, Indiana Club for their 85-year history and the great work they've done, and the fact that they've been able to come up with new leadership every year. And there's so many clubs I could talk about. That's one of the great things about being president. That's really probably the best thing about being president, is being able to visit clubs and districts throughout the year. And Zoom has allowed me to do that to a greater extent than ever before. I probably visited over 60 clubs this year, and that was all by Zoom without traveling around. In fact, Hammond was the first one I visited in person, and that was just a week ago. So it's amazing what we've been able to do with Zoom, and I'm very excited to hear the great things that your clubs. Now, I don't see any hands raised. Does anybody want to share something that a success for their club for this year? I had a feeling we'd be fighting away I see Rebecca. Oh, good. Now I'm starting to see some hands. You were scaring me for a minute. I thought we were going to have to cut people off, and then you started worrying me. Will I have anybody step up? But I know you're all so proud of the things that you do in your clubs that you would want to share those with others, because we can learn from each other and be uplifted by your story. So let me start with Rebecca Harrell. If you tell us what club you're with and what you're so proud of that your club has done this year.
Thank you, Mark. So my name is Rebecca Harrell. I'll be actually the incoming president for this coming year. And so I'm with Gilmer County here in Ellijay, Georgia. And we actually had our first fundraiser earlier this year it was a tennis tournament, because we wanted to do something outside and get everybody active. We had 64 participants, and we were able to actually raise over $21,000 for our children here in Gilmer County. So it was just quite an event. We had such a great time over 2 days, and we were very excited to be our first annual event. So
that's so fantastic when you can bring a new program to your club, because it gives you new energy and new purpose. So fantastic job there. And tell me the name of the club again. I know it was Georgia.
The Optimist Club of Gilmer County here in Ellijay, Georgia.
Fantastic. Well, great. Thank you for sharing. Let me go next to Kim Moden, and please tell us the club and what you're so proud of.
Yes. My name is Kim Moden. I'm the Virginia. And what we are proudest of is this last March, we were, the challenge was, of course, we wanted to do the oratorical contest, and we had to switch from in person to on Zoom. We had 15 young people from the ages of 8 to 17 enter our oratorical contest. And what we are proudest of is that Nyana Xavier is our contestant, and she is now the Optimist International Oratorical World Champion. So she was our oratorical contest winner at the district level. Of course, she went on to win the regional and then the world championship. And tomorrow night, we are welcoming her back to our club meeting so that we can applaud her. And that's something that Zoom was very good for, is we would bring the kids in that we honored. We did all of our contests, we did our scholarships, and we brought them in on Zoom. And, the kids are very comfortable with Zoom. So they didn't have to drive, they just came on and we could applaud them on Zoom. So we did that, and we're going to do that for Niana again tomorrow night. So we are so proud that our club was able to sponsor her through all her competitions.
Oh, that is so fantastic. And I will say,
It doesn't get any better than that.
yeah, her speech was fabulous. And I had the opportunity to listen to all of the district winners as they proceeded through their regionals and the championships. And every speech I heard was so uplifting and talking about how to choose optimism. And so I couldn't have been, what a great fulfilling day and 2 days that was for me to listen to them and to just hear the final winners. And I know the parents are pleased. But the other thing I want to say about our oratorical contests, and you can go ahead and switch the spotlight there, Jennifer. The other thing I'd like to say about the oratorical contest is no matter how the student finishes, whether it's even just at the club level or at the district level and doesn't proceed any farther than that, the experience of giving that speech is life-changing for these youth. And I can't tell you how many times I've had adults come tell me that participating in our oratorical contest changed their life. And we kind of treat it routinely. My club, for instance, has been doing it for more than 40 years. And so we kind of don't remember how great it is. When the first year you do one, like the earlier Georgia club we heard from, it's really exciting. And after that, it gets more routine every year. But for these children, it's a life-changing experience and so important for their lives. And you never know what the results will be, whether they win or not. But I know the parents of your particular contestant are very happy because that's going to be a good chunk of that first year's tuition and maybe a couple of years. So congratulations to her and to your club for doing that great program. Let me go next to past international president Rebecca Butler Mona, who is a club president this year.
Okay, well, thank you, President Mark. Yes, I'm the president of the Noon Optimist Club of Western Des Moines. And honestly, I think what I'm proudest of most, in a singular way would be, I really don't think our club missed a beat. And importantly, neither did the Joy Club that we work with. We both found ways to reimagine the different service projects that we do so that we could continue to do that and continue to meet. So for both of those, that was probably the one single thing. But I just wanted to share one of the ways we reimagined that was very inspiring that might help with others as well. And that is, we have an ongoing relationship with an elementary school called Hillside Elementary School in kind of a lower income, highly diverse area of our suburban community. And we've been working for a number of years with fourth grade kids there, but our normal approach would be to go into the school on at least a monthly basis. We'd bring pizza for lunch and meet with those kids and do mentoring. And often we'd do a service project with them to teach them to give back. Well, when we weren't allowed in the schools anymore, we had to make some changes. So at the end of the school year, last year, as COVID just hit, we actually, our year-end service project usually was planting flowers in the garden with the kids. So we brought our Joy kids in to do that, all socially distanced. So they did it for the kids because they weren't in school anymore. Then we actually met with our fourth graders all this past school year via Zoom, which was an interesting challenge, but we were able to do that and figured out ways we could do projects with them in a meaningful way. And one thing we did that we'd never done before is we actually produced a book with them. So each child had a story and an illustration. And at the end of the year, we were able to print off and produce these published books. And we finally got to do one in-person thing at the end of the school year, planting flowers with them in their garden, and then giving them their books. And they were so excited. So it was just inspiring to us to be able to continue that favorite project with those kids, even with social distancing.
Fantastic. And that's what I was talking about, how clubs were able to adjust to the new situation and keep moving forward. And thank you for the great work that you're doing with those second graders. Let's go next to Pauline Leacock from New York. Pauline, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I was trying to unmute. Yeah, so I'm a little bit different because I'm speaking on behalf of our district rather than just my own club, because I have been the governor and ready to hand it over in another 10 days or so. But I just wanted to say that I think we did end up really having a success, because we were a district at risk and didn't have a governor-elect when it came to the time to be electing one. And we were very fortunate to have President Mark as our VIP to our first in-person meeting for 18 months back at the end of August. And so we still didn't, when he left, we still didn't have anybody. But the night after, we had a past governor who we've been trying to talk into taking over as governor-elect. And he was, you know, he wasn't forthcoming or anything. But the very next night, he called us and he said that he would take it on. And I'm very proud to say that just half an hour ago, we had a special convention meeting and formally elected Brian Bogan. But when we asked him, you know, what kept you waiting so long? And he did say that he was very happy to be at our convention. He said that President Mark inspired him. So you see, when you think everything's lost, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. So I thank you for your inspiration, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll consider that one of my successes for the year. I didn't even pay you to
exactly.
talk.
Exactly.
So that's another success. You did it for free. Let me call, somebody was having troubles with the reaction. So let me call on Rose D'Ambrosi. Go ahead and unmute yourself and let's hear what you have to say.
Hi, Mark. I'm from the Huron Valley Optimist Club here in Michigan. It covers Highland, White Lake, Milford, Commerce. It's a big school district. We did something this year, you know, like everybody else, we had a real hard time finding ways of getting our message out and, you know, helping the community and fundraising, et cetera, et cetera. Well, our local community, Milford, has a Milford Memories every year, and they allow 2 charities to set up booths or organizations, and we were elected with our Blessings in a Backpack, the program that helps the local school children. And we went in thinking, yeah, you know, if we raise $1,000 or so, that, you know, we'd be doing good. All the water was donated by a local water company, so we had bottles, and thankfully it was a hot weekend, so we ended up selling over $5,000 worth of water to help the program. So we're pretty proud of, you know, digging that one out. So.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing. I'm going to, I have several more hands raised, and I just need to make sure I don't run out of time because I also see Les Lowry is one of them, and I'm afraid what will happen if I let him speak. So I'm joking, and he knows it, but I'm going to cover a few things that I would like you to know. Go ahead and put the spotlight on me if it's not. I want to cover a couple of things that I'd like you to be thinking about before we end the year, and then we'll come back to a couple of your stories before I turn things over to Patsy to talk about what's going to happen after October 1st. Of course, this is the time of year when you should be thinking about finishing your goal. Hopefully you set your goals at the beginning of the year to be honor club or distinguished, and this is your time to finish that process up. So that includes things like making a donation to the foundation. You still have time to do that. Recognizing one of your club members or a community member for, you know, as a club recognition. Getting your membership numbers up. If you're shooting for distinguished, building a new Optimist club. Let me think, what else am I, filling out all your reports. So let's not forget to do the Club Pride report, which you fill out online. And even if you have not filled out your club officer elect report yet, please go ahead and do that now. We will make sure that you get to do that. And then the last thing I want to mention is, I think maybe the one that people have had the most difficulty with in terms of making sure they got in there or got credit. And that's our new requirement for your officers, your club president, your secretary treasurer, your club foundation rep, and your president-elect to go to the learning management system and take the training there for your particular position. And then there's other great training. I'm sorry, I knocked my camera a couple of times, but that's so important, and it really is important. Now, for those of you who have experienced trouble either getting into the system, or you believe you took the training and did not get credit for taking the training, we need you to send an email to lms@optimist.org. That's how we will know that you tried and were not able to complete that requirement. But we need to know you tried. If you just tried and gave up and you didn't tell us, we don't know that. So if you want to get the credit for taking the LMS, we hope you were successful in doing it. And thank you, Marlene, for putting that in the chat. So the email address that I just described is in the chat right now. But if you tried to do it and you walked away and said, oh, well, I can't do it, that won't count when we get around to looking at the Honor Club requirements. So just make sure you get that email in to lms@optimist.org so we can search through the records and see what your issue was. We want to resolve your issue, but we realize at this point we may not get that done before September 30th. So we don't want that to be a barrier for you to achieving the goal that you set at the beginning of the year. So that's really where I want your focus to be, is finishing off the requirements for new club building. Certainly, we want you to bring in members. If you haven't done a NOW program or a WOW program, that's also one of the requirements. We want you to make sure you do that as well. You still have time. WOW program is something we introduced this year, which means the WOW is Worldwide Optimist Welcome. That program is where you can invite people to any club event, whether it's a club meeting or gathering, a fundraising project or a community project, and then do your membership pitch while you have them there. The NOW program is New Optimist Welcome, and it's a more formal program and usually has some food associated with it, some kind of formal programs and things like that. You're still welcome to do those as well. So if you do all those requirements, then you will be Honor Club. And I want you to try, even if you think you won't reach. I know there's a couple of club projects. I was just working on one in Portage, Indiana, and I do believe that one will come in. But I want you to try, even if things seem bleak, even if things seem out of reach for you, I really want you to try for Honor Club. And the reason for that is it will pay off in the future, even if you don't achieve that goal. But if you keep going to the finish line full strength, you have a better chance of helping yourself in the coming years. And I tell the story of Katie Grimes to tell you why this is important. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that name, but Katie Grimes is a 15-year-old out of Las Vegas, Nevada. And if you were watching the Olympics like me a few weeks ago or month, I don't remember, I guess they were in July. The 800-meter women's freestyle race was won by Katie Ledecky, who won many gold medals, and just touched out for the bronze medal in fourth place was 15-year-old Katie Grimes. And she missed by really just a small amount. And I felt bad for her when that happened. I thought, oh, wow, all that work, and she just missed getting a medal. And then afterwards, they interviewed her, and she was ecstatic. And I realized, hey, I'm looking at this wrong, because that was a huge success for her. Here she is, 15 years old, and she's the fourth best freestyler at the 800-meter race. And all the work she put into that is paying off, because she's 15 years old. The next Olympics is in 3 years when she's 18 in Paris. And I won't be surprised if she's bringing home gold medals there because of the work she put in this year. So the effort you put in this year will pay off next year. It might be a different president. I hope it is. And it might be even farther down the road for your club. But the success that the effort you put in this year will result in future success for your club, whether you reach that goal or not this year. So please continue to do all those things you need to do to achieve Honor Club. Now, I have a few minutes before we turn it over to, the other thing I wanted to mention to you, people talk about how service club organizations are not growing, that we've been losing members for a year, and especially this year and last year with COVID, it's been too difficult and clubs aren't growing. And I'm here to tell you that that's not true. It's not true for Optimists anyway, because since April 1st, that's almost a 6-month period now, we have grown nearly 500 members. And we still have a month to go with a lot of new club projects in the works. Our organization has been growing for the last 5.5 months. And that means if we could do it for 5.5 months, we can do it for a year. And if we could do it for a year, we could do it for 2 years. And if we could do it for 2 years, we could do it for 5 years. And the reason we're growing is because we are putting optimism first. And I know this is also Patsy's theme for next year. especially with the 100th anniversary of the Optimist Creed. And so as long as we put optimism first, people will come to us because optimism is needed now more than ever. In fact, we just put our 11th club in Lebanon. We have this year our first district outside, our first new district in many years in Nepal, where they have 27 clubs. And these are all Lebanon is just in the last 12 months, and Nepal is in the last 4 years. And they're coming to us because they're Googling optimism and they're finding us. And they want what we have to offer. And so do people in your communities. So they will join your clubs. They have been joining your clubs. And we are really seeing that pay off in our membership numbers for the last 5.5 months. And I expect that to continue in the years to come. So I thank you for all your efforts on behalf of our organization. And let's hear a couple of more stories before I turn things over and we start talking about what happens after October 1st. So Sandy Rogers, let's hear from you.
Hi, thank you. I'm from the West J Optimist Club in Dunkirk, Indiana. Very small little community of 2,000 people. And last year on Halloween, we done a trunk or treat. Instead of, the kids weren't allowed to go door to door because of COVID. So we done trunk or treat and we invited people around the community, mostly churches and other organizations. They came out and parked their cars in the city park. We blocked the streets off and we let people in just a few at a time so that they kept social distanced. And they went around to the cars and got their treats and went on their way. And we had 15 cars that set up and then a couple that did just a table, not a car. And we had 500 kids that went through there. Adults included, but the kids are what we counted. And we had 500 kids in our little community.
That is fantastic. And that's, again, another example of how you adapted to the changing circumstances and were able to keep service to the youth. So thank you for that story. Maybe somebody else will pick that up next year and they'll want to get in touch with you about how to do that. So let me go next to Les. I call him Hurricane Les because I think he's been through 3 hurricanes this year. And I don't know what he wants to talk about, but go for it. Les Lowry from Louisiana.
Well, first I'll tell you, Mark, I have kind of a cough, so I can't talk very long because I'll start coughing. So I'll only be about 15 minutes or so. So, but anyway, you kind of stole a little bit of my thunder there, Mr. Prez. One of the things that I personally and my club and the Louisiana district is most proud of is our ability to have grown this year a number of new clubs. And what I want to tell you is one club that we built this year in particular, and this is what my club, Optimist Club of the West Bank Gretna, did, is we built the club in Metairie, Louisiana. I'm on the West Bank, but this is an East Bank club in the Metro New Orleans area. And what I want to share with everybody is I worked on this club for over 2 years, and then COVID set us back, but with persistence, a lot of hard work, a lot of continued communication, as you know, we got it done and we established this new club. It's part of that 500 number you threw out a while ago, and I was proud of it. Now, this is what I'm going to end with, though. Not only did we get this new club established, they have been busy and they've been doing a lot of work. It's the Optimist Club of Metairie is what they're called. Look them up. They're a wonderful club. They're doing a lot of work, good work. And Friday and of this past week and today, I worked closely with members of their club and members of my club, feeding people that were displaced in Lafitte, Louisiana by Hurricane Ida. I posted some pictures. Those of you that are I share Facebook with might have seen some I posted from Friday. I'll probably post some more today in the New Orleans area is red beans and rice today. And my job for 3 hours, we did 6, a half a dozen giant like crawfish boiling pots of red beans. And we served over 1,000 Friday. And today we served probably about 1,200 folks red beans and rice and other foods. And that Metairie Club was right there with my club serving it. And the last thing I want to say is there's a lot of children displaced. They're not able to attend school right now because their school's kind of like in bad shape. But they had a lot of kids there that were helping us out with our service. And I couldn't have been more proud to see these kids out there helping us out. Anything you asked them, you know, they would run, help. They were enthusiastic, and I was proud to be there and working alongside with the youth in our new club. That's it.
Thank you. And it's just so amazing what your district has been able to do with all the hurricanes going through and COVID on top of that. So I appreciate that. Terry Gorman and Marilyn Bushel, we're going to have to move to the next portion of our program. If you want to put something in the chat about something you're proud of, go for that. I wanted, before I turn it over to Patsy to talk about what's going to happen after October 1st, just open the floor to any questions or comments people want to make about the next 10 days. It more really kind of things you might want to, if something's a question in your mind about where you should be focused or you need some help, go ahead and bring that up. If it pertains to next year, then go ahead and wait. We will have another opportunity after Patsy concludes her remarks for you to ask both Patsy and I questions, and those could pertain to either year. But if you have something specific about the next 10 days you'd like to ask about, feel free to do that right now. And I'll give you a second. If I don't see any hands up soon, I will we'll go on to the next part of the program. Okay, great. I'm so glad that you're all on track. And you feel free to bring these questions up at the end as well. At this time, it is my great pleasure to reintroduce our President-designate, Patsy Garner. I know she is so excited for October 1st to come around. I have to say, I have really enjoyed this year as your president. People ask me sometimes whether I am worried because I didn't get to do all the traveling and that kind of thing. I will tell you, I have probably reached more people through Zoom than I would. I definitely have reached more people through Zoom than I would have in person. And while I miss the in-person contacts, it's really been a fantastic year. I'm very pleased with the work you all have done, and I'm very pleased with the way this year has went. I think we've done well for our organization, and I think we've done fantastic for our communities. So with that, I know, as I started to say, she's very excited to see October 1st come around. And here is President-designate Patsy Garner.
Thank you, President Mark. Wow, what a great opportunity to be here with so many presidents and president-elects, and just to hear the successes of all of your clubs, and more so the pride, I think, that you have in the accomplishments of your clubs. Mark, I could sit here and I could just kind of like walk away and just sit here and listen to the successes, and you all share the stories of what's happening in your club, because that's who we are, and that's what we do as Optimist out there in their community. I listened to there was a couple projects that you had that you reimagined the way you did things. The tennis tournament. Look at what you did and the amount of money that you made in your community doing something new like that. I don't remember what the name of the club is in Virginia. You kind of cut out in a minute, but just to know that had you not have done that virtual oratorical and stepped out and done something different, that young lady's life wouldn't be the same that it is. So you made such a huge difference. Congratulations to you. Dunkirk, I have my club president and I think club president-elect on this call. And 500 kids to do something new on trunk or treating. That is absolutely amazing. And new club successes, the Metairie Club, everything that's happening down in Louisiana, and just the whole coastal line in itself. To be able to do something new like that and feed the displaced people during the hurricanes is very commendable. And inspiring to all of us. So thank you, Les, and all of you for all that you do out there. I personally worked very hard this year myself, just trying to get our Joy Club off the ground. And it was a 4th and 5th grade club, and it finally happened in January. But I will say it's because of the long relationship that we had built with that school that we were allowed to do that, because we were the only people that were allowed to enter that building, and that was Optimist, because we had such a good relationship with them. So that's what, again, you do, just keep building those relationships. I want to say, first of all, if you're a club president out here, congratulations to you, and thank you for the commitment that you've made to fulfill the leadership role in that club. Just being here tonight shows your commitment. But as Mark said, you have 10 more days to get your goals accomplished of being honored. And it is not too late. Those goals are just right there in front of you. So keep plugging at it. So those of you who are president-elects, maybe you're returning. Maybe you get to do this all over again. I don't know. Maybe you're brand new. Brand new is in like, I just joined my club this last year, and somehow I ended up being the new president. I have no idea, but it's your time to start something new this next year. I look at it like my grandkids. They went back to school in August after the summer off, and actually, what, a year and a half of sitting behind their computer stories of how excited they were to see their friends again. And that's what we're doing as Optimists. We're getting back there out in our community. And even though the pandemic isn't over, there's light. And our job together, your job as president and president-elect together, is to spread the light of optimism through your membership and in your community. I think we all do, that we have something to offer that no organization has, and that is the word optimism. I don't know if anybody is out here from the South Carolina district. I can't see all of your hands here, but I heard a speaker this last month at their quarterly meeting, and his name was Montreux Belton. Look it up. He is a fabulous young man with amazing perspective on our organization. He used to be an Optimist, is not now, and I understand he's about to be again. But he reminded us that a team of people back in 1919 had a vision that not only wanted to be optimistic in their view of the world, but how they accomplished things. So they wanted to name themselves out of that very word, optimism, optimist. And they knew what their why was back then. And as Mark said, that's why I've chosen to build upon this very word and use optimism as the 21-22 theme for the year. Our entire team is committed to increasing the brand awareness through your clubs, our districts, and everything that we do. We're going to have open communication with our membership, and that's through you, the president, growing through our leadership and development, and of course, the growing through giving of ourselves to our community through what we do in our community, our programs and projects. I've got a couple of announcements for I wanted to talk first about our Optimist International dues. We have a small increase that I think you know about, and it is being increased to $67.58. Now, this is US dollars, and this is an increase of 0.93 cents, which is not a dues increase, but it's a cost of living adjustment that was voted on by the board of directors this year. The last 2 years, we did not vote on that, but this year we found it necessary to put that cost of living adjustment in. So you have $67.58, and then you have your district dues. So please check with your governor, your lieutenant governors, and find out what those district dues are, because they vary anywhere from $10 to $25 a member. And you just need to make sure that when you're writing your budgets and you're putting your finances together, that you have enough funds within your budget to cover what you have going out. If you're a full-time college student, those dues went to $20.47. So keep that in mind. All right, a couple of dates I wanted to mention, and these are save the dates, and we all call them in our Zoom land world, shameless plugs. 3rd, you get the opportunity to meet the 21-22 Optimist International Board of Directors. You get to find out what makes them tick, and we'll open it up to questions from you to help you better understand what that connection is between the board of directors and you, your club, and how you can benefit each other in that capacity. All right, November 17th, and if someone will just put those dates in the chat line, I'd appreciate it. November 17th, actually that one on the 3rd is from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock during the day, Central Standard Time. November 17th is the Opta Forum, and that is 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. This is we're having a guest speaker. His name is Ray Young. Ray is a high energy, high octane, inspiring international speaker, teacher, and coach, and he specializes in leadership and personal development. He's part of the John Maxwell leadership team. So we'll be planning that out with our leadership and development, but please put that on your calendar because it will be one that you don't want to miss. And then I plan to host these president to president discussions at least once a quarter starting in December. Mark has got a great tradition here going with you all hearing what's happening within your clubs. And I want to keep that open dialogue open. I want to hear what's happening in your clubs. I hope that we can all support one another, share our experiences, our challenges, and hopefully build strong relationships that'll last forever. And another plug is if you like cornhole, I want you to get your throwing arm in shape because if you haven't heard, our committees are developing criteria for the first annual Optimist International Cornhole Championships. They'll be starting at the club level, the district level, and we'll have the international championships in Reno, Nevada. Cornhole is huge across the world. And in speaking with our executive director last week, she light bulb went off in our head and says, wow, we need to start some youth cornhole championship leagues. And I'm like, that would be just a new, different way. We have tennis, we have cornhole, potentially maybe you're playing pickleball out in California. That is awesome. Just use those avenues to bring people together and to sell your optimism in your community. So I want you to know that I have a very deep passion for Optimist International, our clubs and members. I'm a 32-year member in my club. I believe that we're the greatest service organization in the world, and you must believe that too, or else you wouldn't have joined us on this call tonight. I'll be promoting growth this year, as President Mark has done so as well. We have a hefty membership goal of a net plus 212 for the year. That based on the movement that Mark has put into place, and not just Mark, but you as club presidents and within your districts, you put into place, I think it's very, very doable for next year. Just build on the strength that we have right now. I understand that I know that growth is not just about numbers or new members. It's about being optimistic. It's about building relationships. It's about involvement with each other, building our brand, and being present in our communities. And it is about being an optimist. One of the most important things or exciting things that we get to experience during the 21-22 year is the 100th anniversary of the adoption of the Optimist Creed in the offices. By being optimist, we have promised ourselves to share in that relationship of serving the youth in our community. Developed a philosophy of life. We promote optimism. We promote patriotism and respect for law, everything that is within our purposes of Optimist International. These things, I think, matter more in our communities and to your kids and are as relevant as they were back in 1922 when they are adopted. So our first quarter theme for the year is Be an Optimist. And there is no better way to kick that off than the announced Celebrate Community Project, which encourages Optimist, Rotary, Kiwanis, and Lions clubs to gather at some time between the week of October the 10th through October 16th in one service project in your community. And at this time, I want to introduce to you Rebecca Butler Mona, who has been the key point person. President Mark appointed her, as well as I appointed her as the key point person to work with the 4 organizations and put this project together so that we can launch this in October. Becky has just a very short presentation so that you will have a better understanding of what the project is about. Becky?
All right, thank you so much, President Patsy, and also to President Mark. I am honored to be here, so let me just pull something up and share with you, and hopefully you're all seeing this now, right? So as Patsy said, we're very excited to jointly announce Celebrate Community with our partners from Kiwanis, Lions, and Rotary for the week of October 10th through the 16th. So just, real quickly, I think some of you know this, but we've got really a long-standing history of working with these other clubs. But what we haven't done is really plan a joint service project, and that's what we're excited to share. I'll touch briefly with you here on what the goals are and some of our recommendations, and also some of the communications and resources we're putting in place to help you. And importantly for you to know, this is not a one and done. All 4 of our organizations have committed that this is something we want to continue doing ongoing on an annual basis. And so this is really just the beginning. So just by way of a little bit of background, we've been working for many years of having the 4 presidents meet together once a year in Pasadena. But when President Adrian was in place, these 4 presidents agreed, we don't want this to end here, and we don't want it to be a once a year conversation. We want this to continue. So they agreed to come together in a summit the following April, and then COVID hit. So we've been meeting since April of 2020 together via Zoom on at least a quarterly basis about ways in which we can collaborate. And that has shifted from how are we all dealing with COVID and how are we all morphing our conventions to virtual to really a focus on service. And that's what we're here to talk about today. So Celebrate Community has a dual goal. It is about service to our communities, but it's also about collaboration. And you heard both Patsy and Mark talk about the importance of building relationships between us and our community and us and the other organizations. There are 3 project areas that we recommended as potential to consider here for this. This is not a mandate. This is intended to be helpful guidance and things that are fairly straightforward to do. So the first of them is environmental. So it could be a community cleanup, picking up trash in parks, trails, schools, or planting trees. Another area, food insecurity, very important in many of our communities. You could be collecting food for pantries. You could be packaging meals and donating that, or perhaps harvesting in a community garden. And we know health and wellness is important to us and to many of our other colleagues. So you could be doing something maybe with a local hospital or Ronald McDonald House, or perhaps organizing or even participating in a health-related walk or run. Importantly, we were looking for ideas that would be fairly doable, especially when we know we don't have a huge amount of time to ramp this up. Low cost, things that lend themselves well to partnering with others, great opportunities to team up with other Optimist clubs, maybe with your Joy clubs, and importantly, again, with our peer service organizations. Some of this you may already be doing, and that's even better. Reach out and add someone else to your effort. And then together, we can both expand our positive impact and also raise the profile of our organizations in the communities. So to let you know a little bit about the resources in place to support you, hopefully by now with presidents and presidents-elect, you all had seen a message from President Mark that came out at the first of the month. There was a landing page that took you to with some more resource. There was a leadership hotline where this was shared, a joint letter from Presidents Mark and Patsy on the 8th. We're here tonight in our President's Forum, and coming up in October, we'll have our Optimist magazine. Now, there are also some things we're doing jointly. There is a joint Facebook event page that all 4 organizations are co-hosting, and thanks much to Jennifer Bagwell for putting that together. We have club locator links so that you can find other clubs in your communities. We're delivering some digital resources. You can see I have a Zoom background here. We'll have this available for you. We'll also have some Facebook frames so you can be putting this out in your social media. We have a sample proclamation template that you can use locally. And October 7th, we'll have a joint press release going out to the media from all 4 organizations together. Presidents of each organization have quotes in there, and it's something we're doing jointly. And then of course, coming to the event itself, we'll have even more, and we'd love to have you involved in that social media. And again, it's about ongoing collaboration. So thanks much to several people who've been teaming with us on this. Jerry Barnett, who's chair of programs and projects, and of course, Amy Keller on the staff side, Pam Barkholz for marketing, communications, and technology, and Jennifer Bagwell has been a rock star leading the way across the marketing and social media for all 4 organizations. And Cheryl Brin, our new executive director, is personally involved. So thanks to all of them and many others. You have an important role here as presidents and presidents-elect to spearhead this for your own club and your own community. And, that's going to be very important. So I have some action plans to share with you in just a moment. So just to give you an idea of what this could look like, these are actual examples of Optimist projects out there in the past that you could just re-execute here, but maybe team up with someone else. So you could be cleaning up, you could be doing something like a Spark in the Park project in conjunction with that, collecting the food donations, maybe packaging meals for those in need. Maybe you have a cornhole tournament like Patsy talked about, and perhaps that could be something fun you do after your park cleanup, or maybe you could even charge an entry fee and raise money for a local health-related cause. Many Optimist clubs and other organizations do bike rodeos. That could fit here nicely. Or here's an example of a health-related run or walk with a group of kids. So with those as backgrounds, I just wanted to give you a quick glance of the types of communications you may have seen so that you know what to look for if you somehow missed it. So what you see on the left here is the note that came out from President Mark on the 1st of the month. You can see in that red box where he talked about Celebrate Community among his priorities. Similarly, the Leadership Hotline, which is a nice digest of all kinds of great information, right underneath the Optimist magazine picture there with Benny and that cute little one is Celebrate Community. And both of those have links for you. And then on the left here, you see the joint letter that came out from Mark and Patsy on September 8th. At the bottom of that, there are some live links. If you missed those will take you to a PDF of that letter if you needed to print it off, to the website, which I show on the right side of this page, to an email sign up, I'll show you that too, and also a Facebook event. I know that website page you can see here is a really small print, but I just wanted you to get a glimpse of what it looks like, and then you can link to it. Has all kinds of resources. It's got those club locators and other resources for you all in one place. Samples of projects. Here is what the Facebook page looks like. By the way, the idea behind this is where you can go not only to get information, but you can post your plans. You can post pictures of your activities. We encourage you to do that. Use hashtag Celebrate Community and our organization names. All 4 of the organizations are doing that jointly in one place. In the middle of this page, you can see a little example of what the email sign up looks like for you. So you can click on that from any one of several of these places and make sure that you're not missing out on anything because you'll get any emails about it. And then on the lower right, here's a sample of something our awesome staff team put together as a sample proclamation you could use locally. Just fill in the blank, very easy. And you could use it with your own mayor, for example. So action. The important thing is, we start by making a commitment to serve our community the week of October 10th to the 16th. Reach out to one or more of our service club peers to join us in that, and then jointly determine what's the service project you want to do. Determine your staffing plans and your budget, if any is needed, because some of these things could be done for virtually nothing. Promote that to your local media, to the community itself, and in your own social media, ideally before, during, and after the project. And then we'll also ask you for your feedback on the project and the impact. We'll have a very simple form to fill out that's mostly kind of check the box. And then afterwards, we'll be able to say, our very first time out, we had this many clubs participate. We served this many people. We had this many volunteers involved. We teamed up and all these examples, and it's a starting point to build on going forward. So I hope you can tell we're incredibly excited. Our colleagues from the other organizations are excited as well. And Optimists have really been out in front of this. And I'm really proud of the way our volunteers and our staff have stepped up. And so I look forward to seeing what we can do together and be an optimist right at the beginning of this year. Thanks very much, Patsy, back to you.
Thank you, Becky. Wow, I don't think I've heard you talk so fast. That is absolutely awesome. I've seen this presentation in 30 minutes, so she brought this really, really tight for you, just so you get a good idea. as to what needs to start happening and very quickly. And I'm just so excited for this. I think it just shows the world that we have a chance to truly be optimists and be the leaders in this group, because our staff has taken hold of this. Our staff has done the promotion of it. Our team has been very, very active with our incoming committees to make this happen. So yes, there's questions in the chat line. We will put this out to the presidents. The links will be the president, secretary, treasurers. They should already have it. As Jennifer Bagwell says, if you don't know about this yet, you're living under a rock. So we either don't have your email address or we don't have your connection, but it's on, and we'll make sure that you get that. Thank you, Becky, for doing that. I just want you all to know that I will make myself, as Mark has, available to attend your club meetings. I do work for an accounting firm, so it requires a bit of notice for that to happen, but please send me the invites. Mark said he visited 60 clubs, so I think that's a challenge for next year on how many clubs I think that I can visit as well. So, but I'm looking forward to being a part of your optimistic life. And again, my door is always open. I'm available. You see my email on here. Please reach out to me. And for those of you that are leaving your positions, congratulations, President Mark. Congratulations on everything that you have accomplished during this year. Again, I've heard it over and over. We didn't get to do everything, but you did that. You did some and then some. So thank you for your mentorship and your leadership and all that you bring to optimism.
Thank you, Patsy. Jennifer, let's go ahead and spotlight Patsy and me together. And we're now going to open it up to questions from anybody in the room. Anything you'd like to know about now or the coming now 12 and a half months, or farther into the future, because we're optimists. So whatever is on your mind right now, this is your opportunity to interact with Patsy and I, and we'll answer whatever questions you have. And go ahead and raise your hands in the way I described before, and we'll call on you. But you have just done a fantastic job, Patsy, of talking about what's happening next year. So nobody has they're so lined up, ready to go. They're just waiting for that starting bell on October 1st, because they are just raring to go with no questions asked.
There's so much to accomplish, and it's not going to happen in this year. It's not going to happen in next year. It's going to happen on down the line. So just stay tuned. Thank you.
Just so you all know, Patsy and I see this year and next year. We're just working on this together, as all the presidents always do. Adrian and I were very closely aligned in the things we were doing, transitioning to the current year. And I'm sure Patsy will be working with Bob McFadden as she transitions in just a short 12 and a half months from today. It goes faster than you think, Patsy. I will tell you that. I've enjoyed every minute of it, working with all of the clubs and the great work that you do. And I'm really just stalling here. So if you have any questions, raise your hands and let's have at it.
I want to hear one more success story. Roundup do we have time for one more success story?
We had one from Terry Gorman, and actually we had one from Marilyn Bushel as well. They both put them. Terry just sent his to me in the chat. But Marilyn or Terry, if you want to step forward, or anybody else.
Sure, I'll step forward. I'm part of this motive is I'm the president of the Roseville Area Optimist Club in Roseville, Minnesota. And this past year, since COVID started, we have partnered with the local Lions clubs, Rotary clubs, Kiwanis clubs, and the Optimist Club to help community members in our community raise more. We raised more than $185,000 to help those community folks be able to overcome food insecurity, housing issues, health and mental health issues. It was fantastic. I couldn't believe how we all came together. We are now replanning a new program for the September week or the October week, Becky, at the 10th to the 16th. So we're racing to try to get that together. So we're kind of pulling it all together. So that's what we've done. That was just been really exciting.
Fantastic. Yeah, we actually did something with Rotary and Kiwanis and Lions together here at Santa Barbara as well a couple of years ago. I know we had something going along those lines too. Carolyn, I see your hand up, but let me go to Marilyn from earlier. Did you? I know you put yours in the chat, but did you want to talk about the program you were talking about?
This was a program that the this golf club was working on. They have a junior golf club or junior program for the kids. And they were looking, they had some area on the golf course that they wanted to build these little holes for just for the kids to play on. And he describes it as a bunny hill for the junior optimists. And once they get comfortable, they can go, they pay $5 a day. That's it. And they go around, they can go around 3 times, they can go around 6 times, they can go around 9 times, as many as they want. And then as they get more comfortable to go around, then they graduate to the black diamond, which is the 9 hole and the 18 hole. And the 3 Optimist clubs here, well, my club, the Dinner Optimist Club of Calgary, the Optimist Club of Calgary, and the Optimist Club of Airdrie all chipped in to help pay for it. And our names are on, they've got interesting signs. Because they're right next to a railroad, they've got the railway sign, but underneath are the names of our clubs. So all the grandparents and the moms and dads and that walk around with these little kids, like from age 5 on up to about 12, will see our names. So hopefully we'll connect. And they're looking to build a club in that area also.
Fantastic. And that's something where you can do as a wow event too. While the parents are bringing the kids there, just get them signed up for your club when they see what a great activity you have like that. Carolyn, we'll go to you first, Carolyn Riddell. Tell us what club you're with and what you have to say.
Well, I'm with Breakfast Optimist Club of East Fort Worth, home of our incoming international president. This year, I just wanted to, I have to brag on her and the incoming president that's coming in in October. These ladies, they work really hard on I don't know why I want to keep calling them Hanley, but it's Eastern Hills High School varsity basketball team. Those young men, you know, they were playing basketball with duct tape shoes. And we were, the incoming president worked really hard on getting the $1,000 grant from OI. We obtained that. We matched it through the club. We were able to get not only the varsity boys basketball shoes, but the varsity girls basketball shoes. And the girls went on got to play in the state playoffs. I know Diane knows how far they gotten, but we were also able to get them, the girls, warm-up shirts while they were for that accomplishment. And maybe Patsy and Diane both can speak to it a little bit better than I can, but I wanted to brag on them for that. And we also got, when COVID first hit in 2020, the high school students at Eastern Hills didn't have a graduation. So the club bought them yard signs to go in to show all the neighborhood who our graduating seniors were that year. And we also did it again this year for the 2021 students that graduated.
Patsy, I saw you got a grant for that program. You want to talk about the grants that clubs are eligible for from the Optimist International Foundation?
Absolutely. I'd be more than happy to talk about that. We've actually been the recipient of 3 grants through the Optimist International Foundation, and they actually offer, I think, 20 a year the $1,000 grants. I'm going to sit here and I'm hoping somebody from the foundation is on here that could correct me with exact, because I wasn't prepared with the exact totals, but a club can apply for, it's called a matching grant, and it's $1,000, and you have to do a new project in the upcoming, and you have to apply by March. So this next year, March, I think it's March 30th. And then they award the 20 grants based upon your project for the next year coming up. And you have 1 year to do the project, and then you have to do follow-up. And of course, you do 1,000, they do 1,000. It's a great way to do something brand new in your clubs. Step outside your box. We would have never thought to do something like this. And the opportunity came. We didn't have the funds to do it. We went, you know what a great opportunity to partner with them. So I would encourage you to reach out to the Optimist International Foundation or Canadian Children's Optimist Foundation if you are in Canada for those matching grant programs.
Yeah, I'll invite, I know Mark Katz I saw earlier. I don't know if Jan or Graves is here, but if either of them wants to talk about these programs, there are two kinds of programs as far as I know. One is for any kind of club program that's new, and the other one is specifically for health and childhood health and wellness. So if either of you want to step forward and talk about the foundation, or if somebody's here from the CCOF as well.
Yeah, if I could, real quick, President Mark, the club matching grant program that Patsy was just referring to, those applications will be available on the foundation website the first week of January, and those are due mid-January or mid-March, so somewhere around St. Patrick's Day. We'll probably have about $15,000 budgeted to be able to do those matching grant programs for the 21-22 Optimist year. And some of the clubs only request $300, $400, $500. And so we really don't put per se a number. It's really, we have those funds to be able to pay back out to help the clubs. But those are for new programs that your club has never done before. The other program, which is for health and wellness and childhood cancer, is one of the buckets that falls into that. And between the childhood cancer and the health and wellness, they'll be in the neighborhood of $25,000 to $30,000 available for grants for the 21-22 year. And for the health and wellness, those do not have to be for a new program. It could be for a continuing program that your club is doing, but your club is only eligible to get one grant really over its lifetime. So they can't apply year after year after year for that one. And on that one there, that's an ongoing program throughout the Optimist year. There will be 3 dates during the year, January, somewhere in May, and then in August, where those grant applications do have to be in. And then the grant committee will review those and make those awards.
And that's one of the reasons we put the foundation in the Honor Club program, because they support us in so many ways. We're symbiotic, really. And same thing with the Canadian Children's Optimist Foundation. We support each other, and it's a way for people to make donations and get them to benefit the clubs. Mark, who's the incoming president of the Optimist International Foundation, we also have a disaster relief program. And of course, we've had so many, we've had just in Louisiana alone this year, 3, and Ida decided to make its way up to the Atlantic coast as well, where did some damage. And this is an opportunity for clubs to receive funds from the foundation to help local disaster victims. And while you're at it, let's mention that you do need to donate to the disaster relief fund separately from your regular donations to the foundation, because it is a separate fund. But Mark, maybe you could talk a little bit about the disaster relief funds.
Yeah, that's really, like you just said, President Mark, it's really a restricted fund. And those applications in the past have gone really to Executive Director Ben Ellerby, and the foundation has really been the fiduciary as far as those funds are concerned. We're still working out with our new Exec Director, with Cheryl, exactly how that process will work after October 1. But I know that there's money available there for a good project that your club is doing, and it's any kind of natural disaster that your club can really apply for those funds for.
I know Hurricane Les received some this year for one of his clubs, and my club in Santa Barbara did when we had our mudslides here a few years ago. And it's a simple thing. You send there's a application you can submit to the executive director, in this case, Benny Ellerby, next year, Cheryl Brand. And of course, it might change, hearing what Mark was saying. And then afterwards, you do a follow-up report to say what you did and how many people were affected and things like that. So it's a great program that started actually, I think past President Adrian Elcock was the one who suggested it after Hurricane Maria went through Puerto Rico. So thank you, Mark, for speaking about the foundation and its importance to our clubs. And let me go to Liz Paulson, who's had her hand up for a while.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. We're from the St. Paul Eastside Optimist Club. We've only been around for 7 years now, but we consider ourselves like a little engine that could. We keep on going. And so anyway, this last year we adopted a senior high rise. The senior citizens were isolated during COVID. Their mental health as well as their physical health were really deteriorating greatly. And so we adopted, all the residents had our supplier, who was a person who could go in and out of the building, but we adopted them and we became pen pals. We did Christmas tea with them by having a member of our club donate actually a total of 109 teacups, linens, and close to 500 bags of specialized tea, so they could have tea with the Optimists. And then we did Valentine's with them. And we had our youth, 12 youth participated in creating individual works of art that were inside their Valentine's as well as their Christmas cards. And then we continued with pen pals with the people who wanted to. And we followed up with, when we could finally get together, we had a Pandemic Independence Now event, Pine Away with the Optimists. And we had just a lot of fun for a small club that started out with 9 people this year and ended up with 16. I think I was really proud of our members. So thanks.
Well, that's really fantastic. Not only the program, but that you grew. That's almost 50% growth, or 100% growth, I guess it would be, if my math is on shaky ground. But that's fantastic to go from 9 to 16 members. The great work, and I'm certainly your leadership had something to do with that. So thank you, and thank your club for the work you're doing in your community. I want to mention one last thing about the foundation. May not be the last thing. We're still open for business for up to 20 more minutes if you'd like to, if you have something you'd like to add to the conversation. But what my club did after we decided we would like to partake in the disaster relief funds, we had originally donated some money to the foundation for the after that Hurricane Maria. And then we decided every year, in addition to the money that we're going to donate every year to the foundation as part of the Honor Club program, which is a minimum of $100, that we would also donate an equal amount, $100, to the disaster relief fund, because you never know. And it seems like disasters in our world are coming up more and more frequently. I know here in California, we still got a lot of fires, and I haven't heard of any Optimist clubs getting involved in that. And but so my club, we actually make 2 donations to the foundation every year, one for our just general purposes and one for the disaster relief funds to hopefully help people around the world who are having problems. So the floor is open. If anybody would like to make a comment, a question, a suggestion, Patsy and I are here to talk with you.
I have a lot of clubs out here reaching out that want me to come visit, Mark. So I'm sure that Mark would also still come visit.
I will. Even though I'm out to pasture, I'd be happy to come visit your clubs anytime. Go ahead, Marlene. Marlene is our leadership development chair and a new vice president. Let me get that right. Is it vice president-elect designate? So congratulations to Marlene Phillips. And what would you like to say?
I want to say that I have an observation or an appreciation. President Mark, you've had the honor, I guess, of being our president during the only fully COVID year we've ever had. And
Hopefully the only one.
I hope ever will. The positive attitude has been really important to our members, and you have tried to give that message to us every time you've spoken. I just want to say how much I appreciate that. And I want to say to President Designate, soon to be 10 days, Patsy, you're getting to start with all of this good stuff. And hopefully we won't be in it by the end, which would mean you wouldn't be part of the exclusive all COVID club. And I think that's going to be a good thing. But Mark, that'll let you go down in history as the one and only. Thanks.
Thank you, Marlene, for saying that. And I appreciate all the good comments in the chat as well. It's always nice to hear good things. And I would say, you know, it's interesting. Patsy's probably sitting there with the same kind of idea I had when I was in her position last year. And I said, well, this COVID thing will be over by January. So we'll just go ahead and we'll start working, and we'll plan on getting it. And I had all kinds of money budgeted to get people out to do now programs with you in person in your communities, and to do club building, which I finally got to do the first time just a week ago in Portage, Indiana. But I had all kinds of plans where we would have people actually come to you and help you with now programs, WOW programs, and club building. And none of that came to fruition, even though I said, well, we'll just make it through the holidays, and then certainly the vaccine will be well distributed and we'll be out there in force just like usual, like nothing happened. So Patsy's probably sitting there with the same view. So be ready to pivot. That's all I can say.
You've taught me a lot, President Mark, about plan A, B, not just A, but B, C, D, and E. So
yeah.
How we work. So yes, thank you very much for your leadership. I'm hoping to be a part of the President Adrian plan, where we're in and out, but if not, we'll continue serving kids however we do.
Yeah. Carolyn Martin, what do you have? And please tell us what club you're with.
I am with the Sawney Optimist Club of Cumming. So I'm in Cumming, Georgia. I am currently the Secretary Treasurer. I've been for the past few years. I am coming in as the President-elect, and I would say I'm very, very excited. We have had a lot of great things happen at our club, and I would like to say COVID did not get in our way. We never missed a meeting. We were always on track. Every event we could hold, we were holding, mask and all. But I would like to brag mainly on our golf tournament that we held this year. This was our 9th annual golf tournament, and we Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, where we raised money for cancer. So this was our biggest event ever. We actually held it at a different golf course this year, and we had limitations as far as how many golfers we could have, because they said, quit getting golfers. We're like, really? So we ended up with 118 golfers. We had a child that came out, was our advocate child, who was a great kid. A lot of energy, just made the golfers really want to go out there and spend that money. Needless to say, we raised $18,000, which $9,000 of that went to CHOA. The other $9,000 goes to our club to help the children of Forsyth County. And I just want to say there was a lot of great people that got behind that, and always are. I think everybody was just ready to get out and do something. So it was just an amazing event.
Well, that's
Congratulations.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations, Carol. No, golf tournaments are one of those things that you can get outside and create that type of atmosphere. So, you know, I think my club president needs to call you as a club president on the fact that you made your event a cause. And I think that makes a lot of difference when you're having these type of fundraisers instead of for the generality of it. And so therefore you were able to raise that kind of money. So congratulations on getting your golfers out and your efforts.
Hey, Patsy, I just thought of something because I know this year planning the convention was crazy because we didn't know whether we'd have a live one or not. We finally made the decision to go live. But you have a convention planned for Reno. You want to talk a little bit about that?
We do have a convention plan for Reno. It's going to be at the Silver Legacy, I think is what it is called. There's three hotels that are within this hotel. There's Circus, Silver Legacy, and one more. I'm not exactly sure what it is. But we're going to take, we hope, again, the model of kind of what happened last year, but yet we're going to bring a little bit more of the tradition. For all of you that have asked over the time, there will be breakout sessions. There will be specialized training, which we didn't have the ability to do this last year, mainly because we didn't have the room space to do it. We're hoping for a big blowout. There's a lot to do in Reno. Actually, I'm going in November back to Reno to check out sites. Our convention committee has already been there. They've checked everything out. They said it's safe, it's awesome, it's exciting. The venue that they have to offer. Tahoe is, mind you, we've got to make sure the fires are gone by the time we have our convention next summer, because Tahoe is right up the street, with a lot of the fires going on. But it's going to be a really, really good time. And I hope everybody puts those dates. Again, don't have the dates in front of me, but put the dates on your calendar. I think it's like last week in June, 1st of July, to come out and join us in Reno. And again, it's the Cornhole Championships. You got to come just for cornhole, if nothing else. And the relation. Hey, President Mark, we have someone on the call that I would like to introduce to their, and I think that she's still here. She is.
Go ahead.
Our Executive Director, Cheryl Bryn.
Oh, okay, good. I didn't see her, but yes, go ahead,
yes,
Cheryl.
She just joined us.
Oh, okay, great. I didn't see her. Cheryl will be taking over. She's already joined our organization and has been working with our current executive director, Benny Ellerby. And on October 1st, she is, Benny Ellerby is retiring on September 30th, and she is our one and only executive director starting on October 1st. So Cheryl, if you'd like to say a few words, that's fantastic.
Why, thank you. I am delighted to be here tonight with you and have been enjoying the conversation and just celebrating with you and all of your accomplishments. So I'm very excited to join Optimist full time now. I've made it to St. Louis about 6 weeks ago, and it's been a wonderful transition. And of course, as you know, we have an incredible staff team here who really supports all of the volunteers. And I am just delighted to be here and so excited to help all of you move this organization forward and continue to really build on the legacy of service and building your communities. I'm just so inspired by all of what you do. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Cheryl. And I'll just share with the group, you've probably heard me say this before, but there was a very intensive search committee and interview process. That was what the word I was looking for, process, to select Carol out of over 280 candidates who applied. And her history with the Hobie group was, as a lot of us are familiar with, will serve her well. And I'm very excited. I know Patsy is very excited that we got the right candidate to take this position. And we're looking forward to great things in the future for our organization. Well, we're coming close to the close of the session. So if I'll put the call out there one more time if somebody has another comment or something. Otherwise, Patsy and I will wrap things up for you. And Marlene, I see you're a host. If you could spotlight Patsy and I side by side, that would be great. Because I don't know that Jennifer is still with us. Hello, Patsy. There, and hello, me.
Hello, Mark.
Okay, I see I'm spotlighted. Is Patsy spotlighted also? Let's get her back in the spotlight. You're muted, Marlene, if you're saying something. Maybe you're not able to do it. Oh, there we go. Good.
Oh.
Whoever did that, thank you. Oh, no, that's you and me. That's Marlene and me. No, we're looking
You know
for
what?
Patsy.
As far as I'm concerned, Marlene deserves the spotlight. Don't you love technology? I think
Yeah.
it's amazing.
I don't know. There were a few hosts I saw. I just saw Marlene was one of them. Let me see who else is a host. See if I can call on
Am I
somebody
a
else.
host? Maybe I can spotlight myself.
Oh, Rebecca, you're a co-host. Can you spotlight Patsy and me?
Oh, there you go.
There we go. Perfect. Whoever did that, thank you. All right, good. Thank you. Well, I will tell you all that this has been a fantastic experience to be president of Optimist International. I didn't get to spend much time in this office you see behind me. That's the president's office in St. Louis. Patsy will be behind that desk on October 1st. Patsy and I will be together in St. Louis that week, and we will be having our final visit, or not our final, but we will be visiting with Cheryl and our current executive director, Benny Ellerby. We will lower the California flag, which I've been so proud to fly over the St. Louis office for 12 months, and we will raise the flag of Texas. And Patsy, I'm so pleased to be able to share this day with you when we get there, and looking forward to handing you the gavel. Not so much because I want to get rid of it, but because I know it's time for your leadership to begin, and I'm excited about the prospects of what you bring to the table. So on behalf of myself and the board of directors, I want to thank first of all you clubs and club presidents. Club president is the hardest job in our organization. It really is. Well, maybe secretary treasurers, but so many club secretary treasurers do it year after year, they kind of get it down. But club president is a very, very hard job. And I will just say, if you want to be a lieutenant governor, that's an easy and fun job. So don't be scared to be lieutenant governor just because you were a club president and it was so hard. Once you made it through club president, you could do anything, even international president. So I'm looking forward to great things from our clubs next year, as well as how we finish this year. And Patsy, I'm going to let you have the last word, because you are our incoming president in just a few days.
Thank you, President Mark. I was looking forward to you having the last word, because that's the official protocol. However, thank you for allowing me to do that. You and I are going to be spending, as he said, our time together in St. Louis. It'll be the first time in over a year that the two presidents are able to be together in a room and to exchange the gavel without it not being passing from Zoom call to Zoom call. So I'm really looking forward to the excitement of that. You have done a fantastic job again, you and your team and your presidents, on setting things up so that we are on a moving train instead of it stopped in the station. So thank you so much for that, and congratulations for everything that you have done this year. Forever my friend. I'm looking forward to Mark's not going away, by the way. Those of you that don't know our structure, chairman of the board of directors. So he is very active I know he doesn't get to just lay down and die. So he will be very active in the organization. And again, he knows that I can't be everywhere. We have a team. We're going to rely a lot on our lieutenant governors this year. I've invested in them. And if you're a president coming into the lieutenant governors, I will see you every month in our meetings. It's an exciting time to be a leader in this organization and just to be an optimist. And thank you all for the opportunity to serve this great organization.
Woo, just like Toastmasters, right on time, Patsy. That's a perfect ending. And thank you all for everything. We're looking forward to great things, and see you next year. Join us at the end of the year too. There's a party. What's your party?
There is a party, and it is on October the 1st. And if you haven't got the link, it'll be out there. There'll be a Happy New Year's party on from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock on October the 1st, Central Standard Time.
Yeah, watch your Facebook. We're still on time. Bye all.